I'm waiting, hang on. I'm waiting for it to pick up on my, let's put it on the other side, closer to the door. Maybe I get better signal. Let's see, there we go. All right, Rosin with 4x4s. How's it going, man? How's it going? Wars Dog. Huge fan, talking a lot about patience and work ethic. Bought a 74, can't wait to get under it. It's cool. The top part of the 73, the left quarter. I have a 73 quarter up on the wall. It's the driver's side, but it is for my blue 73. It's a spare. So, and honestly, the top part of it is actually the worst part. The sail panel, the roof was rusted on the car that I cut it off of. So about really right at the body line, from there down it's good, and from there up it's not very good. Oh, 13 and got a 71 Nova. Oh, Lean Baca? Lean Baca? That's cool, man. I wish I had a Nova when I was 13. Cool. Hopefully you can learn something from me. I hope I don't disappoint you. William Sanders, how's it going, man? Hope everybody's doing good tonight. I have not got as much done on this car as I wanted to, but it's I did get some stuff done. A few more people get on, I'll actually take the camera over there and show you what I've done real quick, give you a sneak peek. RPM Garage, what's going on, man? Cool. Yeah, it's haven't got a lot done on this thing in the past week. My dogs are trying to kill people. That's okay. If y'all can hear that. And I tried a microphone. I had trouble going live. I was trying a microphone on my iPhone, and it didn't work. So it wouldn't let me go live with the microphone plugged up. Jay's Garage. No, 209 is not my area code. It was my address growing up. I'm assuming that's why you think I'm from California. I've had that question a lot. There you go. Yeah, about ready to get started. Hot Rods 4x4s. He's got to know that he's been working on some. About ready to get started on it. He is. I think he put a quarter skin or something on one side and fixing a bunch of rust. Yeah, I've see if I can get the camera over here to show you what I've been doing to this thing. You can't see a whole lot, but I've got the floor pans on the front welded in and the transmission tunnel patched. It's not fully welded, and I'm not sure if I'll fully weld it. And there was a lot of rust, and I started blowing through some of the holes, which I kind of figured that was going to happen. But nothing seems. Chance Parker, what I want to know. I'm hoping a 350. One of the guys that watches my channel lives in Georgia. He sent me a message. He's got a bunch of parts. I am going to try. She deserves it. But we had turn your welder down and pile it up. Yeah, I was actually working on this tonight, and I ran out of wire from my welder, and I didn't have time to go get any and get back here and do the live feed. So where did everybody go? Everybody left. Yeah, I did a little bit later tonight, just because garage. On Facebook, yes, I'm on Facebook, if that's what you're asking. Jay's Garage. Guy Rage. Connection is slow and jerky. Yeah, I can see it now. It's not picking up very good, is it? Hang on, guys. Let me try something a little different. All right. Let's see if that helps with the signal. I got the phone closer to the door. Is that better? Somebody let me know. It looks better on my pad here, so looks much better. I've tried about half a dozen times to get internet out here, and I'm gonna have to pay the cable company to come out and set me up another modem. Seems to have. All right, cool. 14 people watching. All right, anybody got any questions about my budget build? I did pick up some more parts. I got all the patch panels. I got the floor pans that I cut up to put in here. You'll see that on the video. I got my deck filler panel, and I got some spring shackles and bushings. I got some stock transmission lines, brand new, and I'm going to look at some parts this week that a couple people have for sale. Mike Warner on a second one and getting ideas for a third. Cool. Thanks, Tony Torres. Bipolar garage. Is it a dumb idea when hooking up my electric fans that I set one to run at one temp and the other fan to kick in at another temp? No, that's not a terrible idea. If it's a problem, they're just going to run all the time. The second one will kick on really fast. In milder weather, depends on where you're at. In Georgia, it might not be, it's not a bad idea, but it might not be beneficial just because here, if it's hot enough to run one, it's probably hot enough to run two for most of the year. Depends on where the climate is, where you're at. If you have your fans staged, it's really no different than a lot of OEM cars. They have one stage that cuts on with the engine cooling, and the other stage is anytime the AC compressor is on, it kicks that fan on. So if you have AC on it, I would try to make both of them kick on with, I'd try to rig up a relay to have, or set up a relay to where the AC kicks on both fans. Oh yeah, picture's much better now. Wisconsin, yeah, so a little bit cooler weather than here. That's not bad. Like I said, I think the two-stage fans would be fine. Don't have AC. A complete floor in a Nova. No, I've done one in another car, but probably should have put a complete floor in this one. But really, I didn't want to spend the money. And I'll be honest with you, and I said this in another video, it's probably more work to put the patch panels in than it is to do a whole floor. But most people would just patch this if they're trying to do this quick or on a budget, and that's kind of why I'm doing it that way. Mike Warner, possible to upgrade the stock front sway bar without pulling the engine or dropping one of the lower control arms? Oh, absolutely. The front sway bar, I've changed that on my 73 a couple of different times. It's not hard at all to change the sway bar. You just have to probably jack the car up to take the pressure off the end links, and then getting the sway bar turned where you get it out of the front is a little bit tricky with the, it's not that bad. Can't remember exactly, but you're welcome, Bipolar. I have a question about the rear end, 71 Nova on the right side. I have a U-bolt connecting the spring and just a few inches away. It's bolder than the left side. Is that normal? Okay, I'm not sure exactly what you're saying. Okay, on the factory rear ends, they had a U-bolt on one side and T-bolts on the other. So you had two T-bolts and one U-bolt from the factory, which is completely normal, if that's what you're asking. Subframe connectors on these cars are always worth doing. And I'll tell you why. These cars flex so much that if I would get the bolt-ons at the very least. I like the bolt-ons because you don't cut through the floor, but they're definitely worth doing. They stiffen up the car a lot. It rides a lot better. Even if you don't do anything else as far as bushings or anything like that, it's a big upgrade. John Prodell, I hope Prodol, I hope I said that, Prodol. I hope I answered your question on that rear end. Yes, sir, Bipolar, no problem. You other guys that have YouTube channels, what are y'all working on right now? I haven't been watching much the last 2 weeks. And Bipolar Mike Warner also commented that he put bolt-on subframe connectors on his car. It made a giant difference. And I used the competition engineering. I'm not sure what he used. I used the competition engineering bolt-on subframe connectors, and then I bolt them on. I like being able to take the subframe out, and if I have to work on it and take the subframe out, I don't have to cut welds or anything. Hope everybody's had a good weekend. Rear leaf springs, winter projects. Thank you, John. Rear leaf springs, how difficult are they to change? The biggest thing on the rear leaf springs is if you're changing the front spring sprocket and getting everything lined back up on the rear end. It's really, if you do one side at a time, it's a little bit easier, but it's not a hard job. It can be aggravating. The biggest thing on changing leaf springs, you're not going to be able to get the front spring eye bolt out. You're going to have to drop the whole perch that holds the leaf spring in, and your clip nuts that go on the inside of the body are probably going to break or spin, and you're going to cuss the whole time you're trying to get that apart. So I've got a bag. I keep a big bag. I ordered a big bag of J nuts, or the clip nuts that go under the body and that the subframe or the leaf spring pockets mount into, and use those. But yeah, got a pretty good bit done on there. The floor pans on the front. I've got the back ready to put in. I'll work on those tomorrow, and I'll have some time off this week to work on the car a bunch. So the next week I'm I need to have pretty much all of the metal fabrication done over the next week. 57 Kevy. Cool, man. Part number on the J nuts. I will go back and see. Maybe. All right, I got these off Amazon, and the part number is B00C3 MUMOW. I'll try to put a link. I'll try to put an Amazon link in the description of this video when I'm done. Sometimes I get that done, sometimes I don't. But like I said, there's 25 of them in here, and I've got a couple of bags of them. But they're pretty good quality. They don't have an actual nut on the back like the factory ones did. But the factory ones, even though they had an actual nut on the back, were still less sturdy than these. At least they appear to be. Multi-leaf over unileaf. Monoleaf. if you're using aftermarket leafs, the only problem with mono leafs, anything other than Caltrack as far as a traction bar is not designed to run with mono leaf. Any of your competition engineering style bars, slapper bars, late woods and all that, they say, I think they all say don't use a mono leaf. But Caltracks are designed to run on whichever one you have. So, yes, I've got a video where I put my Hotchkiss leaf springs on my 73 and I had to replace all this. So yes, I have a video on leaf springs. It's lower your car, lower your Nova. Yes, it's just a 3/8 clip nut, that's all it is. Like I said, I got it on Amazon and bought them. Now, one problem you'll have is when you put these in, this part goes up and you clip it on there, it goes at an angle. So you need to figure out how to maybe grind the side of it just a hair to when it slides in there, it sits flat, because they don't want to clip in exactly the same as the factory ones. Peter Stewart, thank you, sir. Well, the 73 and really spring rate depends on multi-leaf and mono-leaf, which one you want. You can get 2 or 3 different spring rates on either probably. The 73 be the same as the 78 probably. I think all that, you know, the rear end on this is the same from 68 to 79, the width and the bolt pattern. Now obviously you've got 8.2, 8.5 and 12 bolt, but everything bolting up is going to bolt up the same. Now the leaf springs may be a different length. I can't remember. I know the rear end's the same, but the leaf springs on the 75 to 79 might be a tad different, but I don't think so. But I know the Camaros have the same clips, so it will be the same. David Timorian, man, y'all got some last names that I'm from Georgia. Pronouncing this stuff's hard. 73 Nova, 5-inch backspacing, fit a 275/60/15. Yes. 5-inch backspacing is the perfect backspacing for a 275/60/15 on a stock wheel well. Now, with that being said, you might have to roll the lip just a little bit, especially on the passenger side. The passenger side on almost all of these cars is closer to the wheel than the driver's side. I use, on my blue car, I have Weld wheels, Pro Stars with 5-inch backspacing, and I had a 275 on that without any trouble. On Franken Nova, I put the 275/60 on that one. I tried 5.5-inch backspacing, which is what most people suggest, and they actually went in too far and they were hitting the body. I could have put a 1/2-inch spacer on it, but it was still going to be really close. So I put 4.5-inch wheels on it, and they fit. But I had to roll the lips a lot on both sides. So, and it's still actually pretty close. The slicks that are going on that are 28x9, and they'll fit fine on the 5.5-inch backspacing wheels. Spring's the same. Okay, thank you. Hot Rods 4x4s. And I think Hot Rods 4x4s, your name is John, right? Yeah, but yeah, the 275/60/15, like I said, every car is a little bit different. So I think the best wheel to have is 5-inch backspacing, but it really depends on the brand of wheel and the brand of tire and the car, because they're all a tad bit different. So if it doesn't fit, don't cuss me. You're welcome, David. But yeah, so got the front floor pans patched. I got the transmission tunnel patched. It looks pretty good. I need to get the deck filler, which I've got the new deck filler here. And one of the problems I'm going to have with that I've had on a couple other cars is you'll have to trim this front edge, because it'll actually push up against the package tray so tight that it raises the back up where it's too high. And you don't realize it until it's after it's in, if you the first time, because I didn't. And it was a pain to fix. But yeah, thank you, sir. I've been blessed with a good memory. Chip Box Garage. Seat tracks, putting Camaros in my 68, but they sit up too tall. Yep, so these seats I've got right here are 78 Camaro seats. and they didn't come with any tracks. Even though I got a great deal on them, $75, I'm probably going to get some Camaro tracks because I think I know a buddy that has a set. I'm going to buy those from him and modify them to fit this floor pan. Or I'll make some kind of non-slider bracket on there because I pretty much have to on my 73 that's got factory buckets and factory tracks, I have to keep the seat all the way back all the time because I'm 6'1". But I think they make, I want to say I saw the Nova bucket seat brackets on eBay or somewhere that they make brand new. I'm not sure about that. You'll have to double check. But if you can get the Nova bucket seat brackets or bucket seat sliders, they also sell the brackets that go on the floor that reinforce the floor for the bucket seats and everything bolts up. I've never put those on, but probably a pretty good, probably a pretty aggravating job, to be honest with you. I hope y'all can hear better than last time. I'm still trying to figure out how to get my live feeds a lot better with the sound and with the video. But yeah, so I've got the windshield still to patch. I was going to buy a taillight panel, but nobody has one in stock. So I'm just going to make weather strip lip for the tail panel and patch it in, and it'll have to be good enough. All right, so we got 27 people watching now. Should I try to paint primer or something this if I can get enough of the mechanical done and it looks like I'm going to have enough time left? Should I drive this thing as is, not mess with it, or should I try to primer it or something? And if so, what color? Y'all let me know. And I know there's a delay with me reading the questions, but I can't help that right now. And after this, after I get done with this project, another big project I want to do, I've still got the 69 back here behind me that I'm working on. You guys will get to see that before the end of the year. Let's put it that way. It took forever to get parts for it. Matter of fact, I actually ordered, I've got a trunk van back there because I ordered 2 of them trying to get it here in time, and both of them showed up, so now I've got a spare. As is. All right, that's 2 votes for as is. Now, as far as the next project, I've got a 71 that was also in storage. I'm probably going to do a back half and 4-link on that car, make a pro street car. But I want to do pro touring. I've got a bunch of things, LS swaps, got a bunch of things planned, but I've got to get what I've already got enough projects. My wife just wants me to get all these cars built and out of the yard. As is. All right, well, so far everybody wants it as is, and I'm fine with that. I kind of like the ratty muscle car look. Brent Feller's flat black, huh? I thought about that. Don White would paint it. Flat black's cool as is. Yeah, I mean, I kind of think about making it one solid color. Maybe not flat black, but something. The just depends. Let me see how much mechanical stuff I get done with it. Like I said, I want to get all of the sheet metal, the big stuff on the sheet metal. I want to get it all done this week. So by next Sunday, I'll be working on suspension, brakes, lines, electrical, stuff like that, I hope. Flat dark green. Franken-Nova is probably going to be green when I do something with it, whether I paint it or wrap it or whatever. So I probably wouldn't paint it green. Probably not. As is with flat clear. You know, I'll be honest with you, 57 Kevy, I do not like clear over stuff like this. I've seen a couple of them that the clear was flat enough but most of them, it looks like a polished turd. I'm not a fan of it. So no offense if anybody has that on their ride. I like patina to look like patina. I don't want it to look like glossed over patina. It's just a preference. But yeah, it's probably if I did it, it would probably be flat black or something like that. I'm not sure. It it's got a lot to be sanded off if I even primer it. And if I primered it flat black, I would probably just really hit everything on here with an 80 grit and just kind of get it the best I could and just primer over it. Not try to get it down to bare metal and do it exactly right unless I was absolutely going to paint it. Geek and Son, hey, how's it going, man? 73 you've had since 15. Yeah, I've had my 73 since I was 20 or so. So a long time. Almost 30 years now. No clear over patina. Thank you, Bigfoots and Mopars. I agree. Yeah, like I said, and I'm not hating on anybody that has that. It's just not something that I like the look of. I know it protects it and, prolongs the look, but it's just not my thing. But yeah, hopefully I'm going to go look this week at some more parts that a guy has. I think his name is Ronnie. I can't remember. So Ronnie, if you're watching and I said your name wrong, I'm sorry, but he lives a couple hours from here ish. So I'm going to go look at some parts he's got. He's got a subframe. He's got a motor. He's got a whole bunch of parts he's left over from building his car. So I'm going to go see what he's got left and see if we can come to an agreement on some of that stuff. And then if not, I've got another motor I'm supposed to go look at sometime this week. Both of them are 350s, so that might save me a bunch of time and money if I find the right deal. 73 since you were 17, cool. Yes, yeah, I can understand that. If you live near saltwater, anywhere near the coastal areas, you either have paint or something on it to keep it from rusting because it'll disintegrate while you're driving it. Which here in Georgia, the humidity is pretty bad. It's usually in the winter it might get down to 50%, but it's maybe 40s if it's real cold in January, February. But most of the time, the humidity here is 80, 90%. Hugger Orange. TikTok, Jay, Navy Devious, the serious plus more love and channel. Cool, man. Thank you for Devious. I can't say stuff right. Yeah, I'll have to check out your Pro Tour Nova, man. I've got a couple of cool ideas. I wanted to go, I think, later this month, unless I missed it already. Summit Racing is having their Autorama at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and they have an autocross set up. I might throw some other wheels and tires on my 73 and take it to the autocross, but it doesn't have any horsepower, so it probably wouldn't be that much fun. Yeah, the 60. This was actually a tuxedo black car from the factory. You can still see some of the black underneath. So, Hugger Orange would be a cool color. I probably wouldn't do a Hugger Orange unless I absolutely did a nice paint job on it. It would. Hugger Orange to me is one of those colors you got to have the right wheels. It's got to look just right. It doesn't. To me, certain colors like Hugger Orange, they only look right on certain styles of cars. It's not great on every color or every style of Nova. But the some colors look great with the stock the stock SS style wheels, the 5-spoke SS rallies. Some colors look good with those. The butternut yellow to me only looks good with a black vinyl top. But like I said, it's just opinions. Pepsi versus Coke. Citrus green. Yeah, if it's what year was yours, John, from Hot Rods and 4x4s? Because if it's I think citrus green was the rare color, right? Was that the pre-ordered color? The spring colors. I think it's a fairly written. Now the 69 that I've got behind me, that car was originally the frost green or the lime green. It's the 69 frost green, I think is what they call it. Don Whited. Been in primer for most of its life, 38 years. Blue is your color. Yeah, and I mean, I love my 73 for most of the time. It was dark blue when I got it. And I think about 10 minutes after I got it, I rattle canned it flat black and drove it and bracket raced it for a long time like that. And then I put it back, it sat for 7 or 8 years, and then I put it back together, and it stayed flat black with no rear bumper. I had to go buy a 73 to get the bumper with the impact strip on it. Same as Seabreeze or something like that, yeah. But the Frankenova was originally bright turquoise or something like that. It's a 74 color. Mark Bly. A 4x4 Nova with a 427 tall deck. Wow. That's pretty dang cool. I want to do a 4-wheel drive Nova. I just can't figure out how I want to do it yet. I know there's plenty of options with the S10 chassis and stuff like that. Not sure if I'd go that route, but I would like to do a 4-wheel drive Nova. And I've got the perfect idea for that. It would be insane and expensive, but I've got the perfect idea for a video of that one. 69 Nova since last week. There you go. It's a project, but like Franklin will need your videos to build it up. Great content. Cool. Well, hopefully this will help you a lot. And guys, keep in mind the scope of this video is to get it done good enough, not really to make every repair the absolute best repair I could make. Now, I'm not trying to do anything unsafe. I'm probably not going to weld my floor pan patches all the way around because structurally, most of the welding I've done on the floor pans, most of the way around or every few inches is more than enough, and I'll seam seal the rest of it to keep water out. But it's not you know, I don't think it's necessary to weld them all the way around. Now the patch on the transmission tunnel, I did weld it completely. But you know, that's the thing. I want to get this stuff done, get the car usable, and have fun with it without spending. And really, Frankenova was supposed to be the same kind of deal. It was going to be using just spare parts I had around here, and I was going to put it together fast and cheap, and none of that happened. I've spent a lot of money on it. I've got a reveal video coming up for that car where I'll talk about all the money I spent on it, what you would have to spend on to build that exact car. But I'll do that once I go to the drag strip. Ronnie, hey, there you are, man. Yeah, all parts are on the clearance table. There you go. Good deal. So I'm thinking Tuesday, Wednesday at the latest, but I'm thinking I'm going to try to come down Tuesday. So I'll email you and verify times and all that stuff. A white vinyl top, yeah. So the 73 that I cut up a few years ago, the top, I've actually got the quarter panel up here for it. I cut the bucket seat mounts out of the floor. It was also a 73 custom, just like my 73 that I've got and I've had forever. I needed a rear bumper off of it. I took both full quarter panels, even though the roof was so rusted, even the inner structure was rusted through. It was probably the rustiest car I've ever seen up top. I cut one A-pillar out. I've got it over here as a spare. I cut a section out of the A-pillar. The other A-pillar was gone. So very, very rusty car. But that car was a blue with a painted top, two-tone paint, not a vinyl top. So it's kind of weird. And I've also had a 72 Nova with a 307 in it that I had for a long time, and I wish I wouldn't have sold it. But that car was also like a medium blue with a white painted top, not a vinyl top, which is kind of cool to me. Your 73 had no motor or mounts. Putting in the motor mounts now, are they only held on by 3 bolts to the cross member? Yes, they are held on by 3 bolts to the cross member. Now, are you using the older style frame stands, or are you using the clamshell type mount that came with your 73? Because you can use the 68 to 72 style, or you can use the 73 and up style, which is the clamshell style. And I have some here if you need to see what they look like. David Riley was asking that. 2 years in on my 76 Nova, but I think you're ahead of me on your 45-day project. Thanks, too old to rodeo. Yeah, well, I've got plenty of projects around here that's taken me years and years to get halfway through. So, Chevy and BOP parts. Yeah, I've thought about that. I actually just bought a Turbo 400. It's a BOP Turbo 400. And I used to have a Pontiac, a 79 Firebird that was, it's a pretty bad car. And a blast to drive on the street. And I'd like to build another Pontiac. So I've thought about if I could find a good enough Ventura, building a Ventura for the channel, because it's still an X-body, but I'll try to do that. Mike Russ, that's right, buddy. Novas for life. Clamshell. Okay, yeah, the clamshell mounts they do have. Just make sure you have the upper mount also, because it is also different than what your older mounts would be. Matter of fact, I think I have a clamshell mount right here. Okay. I thought I had one and I don't. I was going to show you the clamshell mount. In case anybody was curious. Let's see. Use 2 front frames, 73 square body trucks, AK. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I thought about doing something like that. I thought about using a K5 chassis or something like that, even though I'd get murdered for cutting up a K5 chassis, but not sure how I would do it. Factory. Okay, cool. I love the BOPs. The Omegas are probably, actually I take that back. The Buick Apollo is probably the ugliest X-body. It's still a cool car, but of the 4, it is hideous compared to the other 2. So my favorite's the Nova. Sorry, my crystal burgers are killing me. If you're not from the South, it's like a White Castle. So the Oldsmobiles, the Buick Apollo is the ugliest. Then I like the Oldsmobile, then the Pontiac, then the Nova. The Nova's my favorite. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people change the taillights on the Oldsmobiles. And I think the Oldsmobiles were the ones that had the taillights actually wrapped around the side of the car a little bit, I think. Side mirrors at all in the 75 through 79. Is it the bullet style mirror or the mirror like this? So I guess everybody thinks I look like we're about half split on primer and paint on this thing. But yeah, I'd love to build a, I want to eventually, when I get some of these cars, when I get that car done, it'll be for sale. At some point, this car will be sold, at least before Frank and Nova will. Depends on how much more stuff I want to do to it. But I want to do I want to find one somewhere and fix it and drive it home. I've been wanting to do that for a while. Yeah, both styles of mirror. You've got a screw in the backside right here that tightens up and kind of clamps itself to the bracket. I think both of them mount about the same. It's been a while since I've taken one of the sport mirrors off, but both of them mount about the same way. Let me check my phone battery, make sure it's not dying. I guess we're okay. All right. 74 GTO Shaker Hood. Man, I had a chance to buy one of those about 10 years ago, 10 or 12 years ago for $1,500, and it was very rusty, but it was very complete. I really wanted to get it, but at the time, I just, that was before I had my shop built, obviously, because it's not that old, but yeah, I didn't have anywhere to put it. It was a lot of a project. I wanted it bad. And I'd love to have, that's a 1-year only car. Yes, sir, bipolar, no problem. The left front fender skins fit the right rear quarter panels. Okay, I got you. Yeah, like I said, I want to do a, I would love to build it, and there's been a couple of them on there, I think. Like something like the Gambler 500 or something like that. would be very cool to do a four-wheel drive Nova for. I think I've seen I think it's a 73 or 74. Someone's done a four-wheel drive Nova. It had KC lights on top. That's a pretty cool car. Yeah, that 74 GTO, man, that would be a cool. They're worth a little bit of money now, if you can find them, or they're complete junk and they're not worth anything. If you, the last couple I've seen. Uh-oh, I'm empty. David Riley, long tube headers hit the stock air conditioner housing on the firewall. Probably. It depends on the brand header you have. I had Flowtech headers on my 73, and I think they cleared. I can't remember, to be honest with you. Logan Moore, yes. Well, hello, Logan. Yeah, so the the factory AC box, there's a you can probably make a notch in it, because most of right there where the headers would hit, that's an empty cavity. So if you've got the engine out, you could probably go in there and make you a divot in there, and use some epoxy or something to close it up. Just make sure you've got to keep the heat off of it. Oh, Logan Moore was answering you, yes. They also hit the gearbox and pitman arm. I haven't had any trouble with my gearbox on mine, but it depends on what headers you've got. On Frankenova, I've got Hedman Hustler 1 3/4 headers, primary tube headers, and I'm sorry, 1 7/8. I think that's right. They're the bigger tube than whatever I think the stock is 1 3/4, and the bigger ones are 1 7/8. But I've got the bigger tube headers on Frankenova, and it does not hit the steering box or the pitman arm. The only problem I have is on those, I know it would hit the AC box. But on your smaller tube, small block headers, it really depends on the brand. Mike Warner had to cut the lower front corner off AC for hooker headers. So there you go, David. Flip on the heater core, flip the tubes to passenger side. Well, that sounds like a pretty cool trick. I've never tried to do that. But yeah, so I'm definitely going to paint the wheels on this car. So I wish I could find some of the chrome inserts that go in the slots, because I've got a full set of center caps. I'm sorry, a full set of beauty rings, and I need one more center cap, which I think I know where I can find some of those are. Okay, use big block on your Flowtech on your big block. Yeah, like I said, the ones I've had on there for a long, long time. I got you. Jay's Garage, where are you at? Are you in California? I think you're the one that asked me if I was in California. It's finally starting to cool down in Georgia. It was 45 degrees this morning. How cold is it where you're at right now? It's about 60 now, so it's not bad. Did I freeze up? Everybody there? My video here is frozen, so I don't know what you can see. I guess I can see the comments. El Paso. Man, I came through El Paso a couple of years ago. The hockey pucks for body mounts. I've seen that done. I had no idea El Paso was so close to the Mexico border. Literally, if you're driving on the interstate and you wreck and go over the fence, you're in Mexico, it seems like. All right, my video froze on my laptop, but I don't need that. I just need the comments. Picture is frozen, but the audio is okay. Well, I don't know why the picture's frozen. Let me see if I can fix that. let's see if that fixes the picture. There we go. Okay. Okay, is that better? Okay, cool. Give me just a second. I gotta hook my charger up to my phone. All right, so are there any of you that think I can't get this thing built in time to go to Daytona? Or is everybody as dumb as me and think I'm going to get it done? Okay. Charge hooked up so we can keep going. All right. Yeah, I like the side pipes on Novas. The girl that's got the burnt Nova, I can't think of her channel right now. I'll screw it up. I think I know what it sounds like. But anyway, those look cool. I think it's a 6-cylinder car. They rescued it from a burned garage. Really cool car. Yeah, it's really hard to find parts right now. Everything is back ordered. Everything is sitting on a ship out there off the coast of California. So good luck with that. Yeah, transmission fluid works good for breaking stuff done. I'm hoping I get it done in time. Spirit of America, fine, cool. Yeah, I like those cars. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna get it done. I'm more worried about the budget than the time frame. Since I'm self-employed and the weather is mild, the heating and air business is not really on fire at the moment. So I'll have plenty of time to work on the car. I am doing 99% of this by myself. My wife will come out here and help me. If I primer the car, she'll do most of that. She'll sand everything down and spray the primer for me. Yeah, A-pillars, if you're looking for A-pillars, that doesn't matter if it's the actual hinge pillar and A-pillar metal, or you're looking for the trim. It's really difficult to find. 256 gear. No, I've seen 273s, or 273s, I think. I've got a 8.2 rear end that will probably end up under this car unless I find a deal on one, and I'll just have to deduct. I found a couple of them not in this area for sale for 150 bucks, so I'll deduct $150 from my budget and stick the one that I have in this car if I can't find another one. Because I don't think this 8.5, even if since I found the caps for it in the one video, so this is probably savable, but by the time I buy gear, put it in a carrier and bearings and clean everything up, put it together, the time and money I'll have in it will mess my budget and my timeline up. So it's probably cheaper to find a used 8.2 because they don't go for as much money, and just hope it doesn't break. Till your wife will kick in money to keep you in the garage. Yeah, I know that feeling. 71 had a 256 gear. I think, Mark, it depends on the engine you have. Mine had a 307 in it. It was a 71 Nova, and that's what the rear end that I've got, the 8.2 came out of. It was my first car. And I had upgraded the rear end at some point to an 8.5. And the one I've got has a 273 in it. But maybe with different engines, it came with a 256. Okay, so Logan Moore is installing his distributor right now. I've got a video on that, and when you get at the top dead center, looking at the rockers, the distributor drops down, but the rotor gets clocked 30 degrees in advice. What you need to do is you need to figure out on your distributor cap where you want number one to be. And then you want to look at your rotor button and the bottom of your distributor at the same time and see if your rotor button and the tang on the inside of your distributor are lined up. And then you can look down inside the engine and you can turn the oil pump drive shaft with a screwdriver and line it up to where you want it to be after it rotates. And then as you set the distributor down, turn it back to the notches. And when you set it down in there, it'll mesh with the cam gears, it'll turn the distributor, and it'll fall into the oil pump drive shaft. I've got a video on that if you want to look it up, and I'm not sure if it shows, I think it should show all that. Correct side mirror 71 Nova, round or rectangle. Mine had rectangle mirrors on it, and it was an all original car. I think in 70, I want to say sometime in 70, I'm not sure if all of 70s had square. I know 72s had square. I think 70s had round, but I think I've seen a factory 70 with square mirrors before. I'm not sure about that. Yes, sir, Logan, no problem. All right, John from Hot Rods and 4x4s says the correct for 71 is round. I thought mine had square. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe 72 was the first year of the square. '72s definitely came with a square, I'm pretty sure. My 72 had squares on it. It wasn't a rally, but Rally Nova could have come with sport mirrors. I'm not sure. All right, Peter Cajas, if I'm screwing up your name, I'm sorry, Peter. Cajas has a 71 and they're round. So okay, seems like that's about right. But yeah, I'd like to find the Nova sport mirrors are different than the Camaro sport mirrors. I think the door's at a different angle. Be nice if somebody would make an adapter so you could put them on there. Cam recommendations for a 307. Comp Cam's 268, either Extreme Energy or something like that. Maybe a 252 cam because it's such a small engine. If you're not going to go with a performance converter, I guess it's an automatic. If it's an automatic, it doesn't take a lot of cam in a 307 to make it sound good. So a 252 duration cam or a 268 duration cam. But with a 268 duration cam on a 307, you might need a slice stall converter if it's not if it is an automatic. 72 is round from the factory. Okay, well, yeah, maybe 73 is when they started square. I know for a fact 73 was square. I'm pretty sure my 72 I had was square, but I'm not positive. I'm 80% positive. But yeah, Steve Rupp, on a 307, like I said, I like comp cams. You know, every cam manufacturer is good. Honestly, on the cams, I would buy NOS GM lifters. You can buy brand new ones. I think they're Delphi HL66 hydraulic lifters, and they are better than any lifters that come with most of your camshafts. Now, Howard's does have a set of lifters that I think are exactly the same lifter. And it's about $160, $170 for a set of lifters, which is what most cam kits cost with cam and lifters, but it's worth the upgrade, especially with how easy it is to flatten the camshaft. But yeah, hopefully we'll be leaving on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, driving this to Daytona. Have any of y'all ever been to Daytona Turkey Run or plan on going? Hey, no problem, Steve Rump. Like I said, verify that part number, but I'm pretty sure it's the Delphi HL66. I've got a good memory, but I still screw up. But yeah, so the Daytona Turkey Rod Run, we missed last year, and we went to the spring show this year and camped out of the Nova, which was fun. Should have did a video on that, but I didn't. But we've missed, I think, twice in the last 25 years going to the Turkey Rod Run at Daytona Beach. Now, it's probably not as fun as it used to be because the cool parking lots that everybody used to gather in has been, they've kicked everybody out of those, but it's still a good time. So we're gonna go down there for that, and then drive this, and my wife might follow me in the 73 in case this thing lets me down somewhere between. It's about 350 miles from where I live to Daytona Beach. Sport Mirrors 73, don't remember when Square started, right? Yeah, I'd like to have some sport mirrors on my car. I don't even have passenger side mirrors on any of my cars. So it'd be nice to have one of those. I guess I just gotta go around to it. Now, one of the 71 that I have in storage that I'll probably do a Pro Street build on, it's got a sport mirror on it. I don't think that was factory, but will a 72 or 74 hood fit on a 72? Yes. However, okay, it's actually go around. A 74 hood will fit on 72, no problem. If you use a 72 hood on a 74, the front trim is lower and the hood release is in a different spot, so it makes it a pain. But a 74 hood on a 72, yes, but the trim will not, the bow tie emblem will not fit under the trim because that piece of hood just isn't there. Yep, and then John from Hot Rods 4x4 has answered the same thing. Anybody got any questions? Thank God. Yeah. Yeah, when you start mixing and matching stuff, you find out real quick when something doesn't fit. 38 people, that's the most I've ever had on a live stream, so thank you guys. So far, October has been the best month I've had on YouTube ever, so I'm thankful for everybody. I wanted to think of something cool to do when I get to 5,000 subscribers, which I'm about 800 away, but I'll think of something. And my favorite year Nova is a 73. I like all Novas, 62 to 79. I would love to find a 86 Toyota Nova and put a 2JZ engine in it or something stupid and then drive it off a cliff. So something cool like that. There you go. Well, hopefully I'll get the videos out fast enough. I should have another video out. I was going to try to do it every 3 days, and it got kind of, last week got away from me. I had a couple of projects that all of a sudden the timelines got moved, and construction projects I had to finish. So, yeah, on the 74, 73, 74, David Riley said he saw someone where they tucked the bumper. On the 74, it's easy because you just drill out the shocks and collapse the shocks. Now your filler panel that goes in between the bumper and the body, whether it's front or back, on a 74, the rear is rubber, the front is steel. You have to do something about that. You have to trim that up and make it fit because it brings it in about 2 inches. On a 73, you've got hard brackets, not shocks. And if you have the hard brackets, you have to cut and re-weld those things. It's not as easy to tuck a 73 at all. But at least the front and rear bumper filler are rubber. But yeah, somebody at least seeing how I'm hacking it together. I've got a couple of pieces of factory harnesses. I could probably make one good factory harness out of the stuff I have left over. But since I really can't find a used value for that, I don't think that's fair to use for my budget. I try to keep this as honest as I can, where someone that's trying to replicate what I'm doing isn't going to have a bunch of stuff laying around. You're not going to find a half of a used wiring harness for sale used. And if you do, it's not going to be very often or common. So I'll probably put another cheap Amazon wiring harness in this car. The only thing about those is they don't fit the firewall correctly. So you have to make it fit. But I'll make it fit, make it work. Everything, electrically I plan on everything working. I plan on the car having heat, no air, but I called my glass guy and ordered glass. So hopefully he'll find that and let me know this week. Dilly the Kid, love channel 209. Thank you, sir. Replacing a rear rail on one of these cars. The repair on mine, but I'm nervous. Yeah, I've never replaced a rear frame rail on one of these. They go down, and you start getting, when you get into the lower section in front where the leaf spring and all is tied in, there's a lot going on right there. It's pretty serious. Take your time and cut as little as you can. Now, depending on how rusted yours is, I assume it's rusted, I would probably see if you could section in a piece, but if it's all rusty, that's not a good idea. But thank you for the love, sir. Order square body harnesses, and they're pretty close. Yeah, but I mean, I got to find one that's in good shape. So and I got to find one, like I said, I'm trying to use market value on some of this stuff to deduct from my budget. And I'm already over $2,000 because I bought the 2 floor pans for $80 a piece. The rear deck filler, I think, was $109. I bought leaf spring shackles. At headquarters. They are factory style shackles with rubber bushings. So I've got those, and they come with bolts. They'll work pretty good. And then I bought factory style transmission lines because I'm using a factory style radiator. It's an aluminum one, but it's a factory style radiator. So that'll make hooking all my transmission lines, all that stuff should be a breeze, nothing custom. King Cuddy Boyd Jr., Boyd JD, sorry. Need a front subframe, 711, cannot find a donor car to source from other subframes work to make my car roller. 68 to 74 Novas, pretty much the same subframe. Now the 74, the front horns have different bolt holes set up, but everything else on the subframe will work. You just got to drill holes. As far as other cars other than Novas, 67 to 69 Camaro, the front subframe on those bolt into these cars. The bolt holes, like again, the bumper holes may be a little different, but not much. And really, anybody looking for parts, get on the Facebook. There's several groups. If you got a 73, 74, you've got Chevy Nova 73, 74. They've got a hatchback group. They've also got a BOP group. That's another group. Chevy Nova Nation 69 or 62, 79 Nova Nuts, Nova Project Cars for Sale. I've actually got a video I've been working on where I'm trying to explain how I find good deals on cars and stuff like that. So I'm going to work on that. But as far as finding parts, Facebook groups, and stay on Facebook Marketplace. And then ask around at your parts stores. A lot of you guys at parts stores, less so than used to be, but a lot of you guys at parts stores know where, parts cars and stuff like that are. Ronnie, I may talk to you about that subframe, so we'll chat. I'm interested because I've got 8 Novas and I've got 5 subframes, so gonna have to do something. Even if I don't use it for this, I want to talk to you about that subframe. Ronnie, do you have a rear end also? But yeah, so I'm hoping to have. I've got the 350 transmission. Hopefully, I can build it. I've never built a transmission. Not really. I'm hoping I can build it and it'll work. If I can find a used engine that's in good shape and runs, and I don't have to rebuild it, that would save me a bunch. But depends on what I find, I may rebuild or at least go through it and reseal everything, take it apart, check everything, make sure there's no impending doom. And especially if somebody's got one that's been running and they know it runs, I'd probably pull the pan off and just look and make sure there's nothing crazy about to happen, and reseal all the gaskets. Cool, yeah. And then we'll talk about that rear end because I need one. Yeah, the subframes. Where are you at, King Cuddy Boy JD? But yeah, a lot of the swap in a V8, keep the Saginaw. Yeah, I wanted to, and the guy that I got the car from has a 4-speed Saginaw, and I can get it for cheap. I wanted to do that, but there's a very good chance when we go on these trips, my wife likes to drive, if she doesn't drive my 73, she will be driving this with me also. And she's not good at driving a stick, especially something old sloppy like a Saginaw 4-speed. Now, if it's a newer, modern, 5-speed, she wouldn't have a problem with it, but it would be more reliable than trying to rebuild an automatic. But probably going to stay with the automatic for now. I've got the clutch pedals out. They're right here. So I'm going to put a automatic car pedals in and get the Virginia. Okay, yeah, you're pretty good ways from us. But yeah, I'll put an automatic in it now, put the other brake pedal system I've got in there, and I'm going to build a car with a 4 or 5 or 6 speed in the future. So I'll keep that pedal set up for that. A 3-speed mystery shift. I don't know what you're saying. This could have been I don't know if this is a 3-speed car or 4-speed car. I have no idea. It is a V8 car. It's got an 11.427 VIN. So really, it was a V8 car, and unless the pedals were swapped in later by someone else, it was a 3-speed car or a 4-speed car. Yeah, and the Saginaw, they took the 3-speed Saginaw, and when they made the 4-speed, I think it's the same case. I've read somewhere where it's the same exact case. They just made all the other gears big or smaller in the 3-speed so they could add another gear. And that's why the 3-speed is way stronger than the 4-speed Saginaw. And there's nothing wrong with a 3-speed because, an automatic is a 3-speed or a turbo 350 is a 3-speed. So it's just not as cool as a 4-speed. You both have a 1-to-1 drive in 4th gear or 3rd gear. You both have a 1-to-1 drive ratio. All right, let's see. 920. Oh, okay, I missed that. Sorry, Danny, I missed your question, man. 6-cylinder 3-speed manual, or change it for a V8 72. There's nothing wrong if you like the car like it is. If it's fun to drive like it is, the 6-cylinder is cool. I would like to build a straight 6 Nova, but I'd use a 292 out of a truck engine, and something like that. Maybe put a turbo or something on it. That'd be a fun project. But I've got a lot of ideas and very little time and money, so probably like all of you guys. Yeah, and I've got I did pull the side cover off of this Turbo 350 housing, and my accumulator, my 1-2 shift accumulator piston bore, the spring was broken, and it screwed up the bore. Now, a lot of times that means a new case, but the cases are getting hard enough to find where I ordered a sleeve kit and a new piston, a smaller size piston that doesn't require any machine work. So I've got that to fix the case, and hopefully there's no other damage to the case. Like I said, I'll know when I get it completely apart. Yeah, the 3-speed Saginaw may have a lower first gear than the 4-speed. I'm not certain on those. But yeah, Danny, if you like it, never change something because somebody else thinks you should. Change it because you want to, or you're not happy with it, or you want to be happier with it. So, yeah, so the Turbo 350, like I said, I'm going to rebuild it. I'm going to make a couple of, I've been watching precision transmission videos, and a lot of information on those videos. Guy does a very good job. I might comment on some of their videos and ask some questions, but hopefully I'll put that together. I'm probably not going to machine the direct piston to add a 5th clutch in. I thought about doing that, but I'm not going to make any power, and if I do, I burn up a clutch, then I'll rebuild it, and I'll do that then. Brian B has a 65 Nova with no time and no money. Awesome. Yeah, so you're like the rest of us. Brian Powell. Hey, John. How you doing? Brian, let me tell you guys something. Brian knew that I was going to have trouble finding some of these pieces, he sent me these eyebrows, and I really appreciate it, Brian. Thank you so much, man. These are going to work perfect. They are a little beat up, but completely usable. So, yeah, I'm going to clean them up a little bit, put them on these fenders. I needed these. Thank you very much, sir. Brian's got a, I think it's going to be called Redline Garage. I'm not sure if he's open yet, but he's got a shop in Ohio. Can't remember where, but he's in Ohio. And he's going to be doing some cool stuff in his shop. I know he is. You did pick up that 70, cool. Rumple foreskin, any good brands for a quick release steering wheel quit? I've never used a quick release steering wheel, so I have no idea. Brian got an extra pair. Yeah. The somebody else asked, did it pull the rear diff out of my 76? Located in Ohio. Probably not going to mess with anything that far away just because I don't have time to make a trip to Ohio and get it. Another guy, Farm Kid, had offered me an engine at a good deal, and he's in Missouri. And like I said, I'd love to take people up on that kind of stuff, but just too far to go. We're trying to do this. I don't really have time to take off and go that far. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, so a couple of my buddies that I've met through Facebook and through my channel on YouTube got garages going on. Toby Purdy has Purdy Performance in North Carolina, and then Brian has Redline Garage, I think is the name of it, and he's going to be doing some cool stuff. King Cutted Boy JD, come across the channel tonight, build closely. Cool, yeah. So yeah, keep watching, man. Hopefully something I do here will help you either avoid doing it on your car or help you do it on your car. Not everything I'm going to do is going to be great. I can promise you that. I am capable of good work, but when you get in a hurry, good enough instead of good is what the name of the game is. That's right, Ronnie. Yeah, price of gas would be more than a part. And on my build, I'm not, like when I went to Florida and got the seats, you know, we spent the night in a hotel, went and had a couple of drinks and ate some seafood, stuff like that. I'm not including that in the price of the build. Some of you guys live in cities that have swap meets and a lot more availability of parts than the small city I live in. So that probably evens out as far as the cost of building one of these. I'd like someone else to do this, and I know a couple of you guys are trying to build something cheap, do a budget car. I'd like some other people to do a $5,000-ish challenge. You know, close to that. Hey, my shop cat just showed up. I haven't seen it in a while. But I don't know its name. It just comes and goes as it pleases. Hey, kitty, kitty. But I have no mice in my shop, so that's a good thing. But yeah, so it'd be cool for some of you guys, some other people, anybody to do another challenge and try to do a muscle car that for, you know, the $5,000 or $6,000 range. Plainview, Texas. I don't know where Plainview is, but if it's anywhere in West Texas, I felt stranded in West Texas. E&T Scrapping, hello from Kentucky. Hey, how's it going, man? When I drove through West Texas on the way back from Barrett Jackson auction in Arizona, once you get out of El Paso, you have to go back through a customs stop, and you're 30 miles north of the border or something like that. And pretty much from there until Midland, Odessa area, there's nothing but dirt and oil fields. So, yeah, good luck if you're on that side of Texas. Doing a budget car here in Michigan, 71 Nova, trying to stay under $10,000. And that's a pretty good budget. If you already have the car, you could do a lot nicer car for 10 grand than you can. It depends on what you start out with. You know, this one came with a few things, especially for the $400 I paid for the car. This one came with a few things that you normally wouldn't get. Now, I almost had a car with a windshield in it, but I broke it, so that really pissed me off. But, you know, it happens. I leaned on the fender, and since it wasn't bolted down, it busted the windshield. cracked it, and the rest of it came out without cracking. So I would have been able to save that. That would have been a great advantage, but didn't happen. And it also has front door panels. They're kind of ratty looking, but they're completely usable, so that'll be a good thing. You pay $7,000. It's very beat. Well, hey, no problem, Brian. Yeah, if now, so you're trying to build it for another 3,000 or another 10,000 plus your original 7. So, Mako for paint jobs? No, we haven't had a Mako in this area for a long, long time. We've had a few budget people pop up like Mako, but I've never had any work done by any of them. Any experience with a spray gun? I would find a couple of used panels somewhere and practice on those, and just kind of, my deal is this: I'm not a painter, and I'm not going to say I'm good at painting. My expectations when I do something are way lower than if I'm paying someone to do that for me. So if I'm paying someone to paint my car, I expect a lot because they're a professional and they cost a lot of money. I have no problem with their price. If we agree to do it, I expect the results to match the price. If I'm doing it myself, I lower my expectations. I can be pretty happy with my own work and have plenty of flaws in it just because I did it, and I'm still going to be proud of it because it's hard to do, and it takes, some of those guys takes years and years and years of doing it to be really good at it. So I can live with my results. Mike Warner, gotta go. Thanks. Have a good night, man. Yeah, the blue I did on the 73, that was Plastidip, and it came out pretty good. There was a few runs in it that you could see if you get up close, but Plastidip sprays a little bit different, and really you're using a vacuum cleaner in reverse to spray that stuff. So it's got a, it's almost like a Wagner power sprayer, kind of, is a little bit different, and that stuff sprays out like water. It's really good stuff to use if you do it right. But that was my first try at it, and I didn't do great spraying it, but I really had no problem removing it, so I was happy. Repainted an Earl Shive's paint job one time. Yeah, we had an Earl Shive here for a few years, but most of those, we've never had any brand name budget paint places around here. It's always been someone local that was doing it. $3,000 on budget. Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, Adam, and you guys, you can post on my Shop 209 Facebook page. Post your projects on there, and we'll talk about them, look at them and stuff. Cool. Yeah, Adam, it's yeah, I'll look for you on the groups on there. Look down on paint and body work. My neighbor has a collision shop and does restores. He offered to help me with the 65. My buddy Jeff, Jeff is the guy that had the shop that I got all these Novas from when I bought the 5 Novas. I had already bought this one, but then I bought the other ones. And he had an auto body shop for years and years. And he showed me how to do the little bit I know how to do. He showed me how to do. Now there's probably a lot better ways, or maybe not better, but a lot different ways to do things. I only know one way to do it. And he did a really good job. Now I did all the body work on my 73, and then he sprayed it for me because the paint was about $1,500 in paint, and I didn't want to screw up that kind of money in paint. So he painted it for me. When my body work came back to haunt me, and I got moisture in my filler, probably from spraying through a gun, only using a cheap dryer at the end and a cheap separator, water separator. So I ended up with moisture in my filler when I put my primer on, and it come back and bit me. So in the future, I will always put epoxy primer down before I put any filler down to try to avoid rust underneath that. So that's why my 73 has to be repainted. Yeah. If you go with one of the budget paint places, they don't do a lot of taping off, and they paint pretty much everything except for the glass if you're not careful. Yeah, Rumpel, I do have a Facebook page, and y'all can, like I said, you can go on there and post your projects on my page and share it. I've got about 500 followers on Facebook, somewhere around there. I need to start posting my videos on Facebook, but the YouTube videos, if I post a link on there, doesn't seem like it gets any traction. So Adam, thank you, sir. Well, I try. Sometimes I don't finish videos, or I start in a weird spot. You know, I really need to do a different disc brake conversion video, because the one that I did is with the subframe out of the car, and I'm really just assembling it. And if you've already got a complete car, you really need a full video on that. So I'm probably going to do a disc brake conversion on this after I drive this thing to Daytona next month. I'm going to use all stock drums and all that stuff on there. So it'll be a good project car to do a full conversion on with a complete car, which is what most people are doing. So, and then I also didn't finish the wiring. I don't have a video on finishing the wiring on Frankenova, because when you're put car together from a bare shell, trying to do a complete rewiring video, you know, is broken up by all the other stuff you're doing in between putting it together. A color for this budget build, Brian B. We've talked about, I don't know if I want to do, just put it in primer before we go to Daytona, or if I want to really paint the car when we get back and maybe drive it as is to Daytona with all this funk showing on it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. My wife told me she likes it like it is. It'd kind of be cool driving it down there ratty, but at the same time, she's ready to do something on this car, and she'll sand this thing down for me and primer it while I'm doing something else. So I might do something with it. Farm Kid, hey man, how's it going? And Farm Kid, I did get your message on Facebook the other day. I would not come to Missouri for a motor, but thank you for the offer. Very kind of you. I just don't have time to get up there and do that. But you pull white primer and like so much I'm going to clear over it. Yeah, when I built my 73, when I painted it, I used K36, PPG K36 surfacer to build up and sanded it down, and it was pretty much white. I think I had K36 and K38, and one of them was a little bit lighter color than the other. I can't remember which one's which, but K38 is a super high build surfacer, and K36 is a regular build. And when I sanded it down, the car looked almost white, and when I'm wet sanding it, it looked shiny and white, and it really looked good white. Color for this budget build evening. What else is going on? So yeah, so like I said, and for you guys, there's about 35 people watching. I'm gonna show you guys the inside of the car. I did this at the beginning of the video, but I'll show you the floor pans I've got done, and this video will be out in a couple of days. So, got the floor pans welded in. I got the transmission tunnel patched. It's kind of a hack job, and some of my floor pan that I didn't cut out, I blew some holes in. So I'll have to go back and fix that. But it'll be okay. It's not going to be too hard to fix. And anything I can't patch up, I'll cover it up with seam sealer to make sure I don't get wet. All right, so, Farm Kid. I confused you with somebody else, buddy. I'm sorry. Working while I'm talking. Yeah, man. SKP. I thought about doing a live feed while I worked on the car some, and if I could see the questions or had someone here with me that would read me questions, that would be the way to do it. Muffler exhaust system recommendations. On my 73, I'm using a Summit Racing and 2-inch or 2.5-inch exhaust kit from headers back. It came with full tailpipes, 2 mufflers, everything, and it fit really well. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. It's on the outside, the inside's smooth. So that's some kind of, probably some kind of Chinese monkey fungus that's going to kill us all. It'll be the next big thing. But yeah, Dylan the Kid, cutting sheet metal out of the car, where do you decide to start? So far, car needs pans, rear frame rail, as previously mentioned, outer wheelhouse. Man, that's hard. Without looking at the car, it's hard to say. But as far as where to start, I try to get the easiest stuff done first. Well, I say easiest. The easiest big thing done first. So you don't want to cut the car completely apart. If you're going to do a trunk pan and a floor, I would do one or the other. I wouldn't cut them both out at the same time, unless you really have a jig or something set up to measure everything and keep it where it needs to be. Which I do have a frame machine, but I don't have room for it in the shop, so it'd be nice to have that set up. I can set it up. I don't have a pulling tower for it, but I do have the frame machine to set the car on and measure all the points and keep everything correct. But as far as where to cut everything, where to start, I mean, you know, it just depends on the car. Some is rust repair, some is collision damage. Yeah, it just depends, man. It's the rust. If it's, I would try to repair the rust that I can cut out and weld in without any structure or without having to have the car up off the wheels. Like for example, on this car, I started with the front floor pans. I can cut those out. I don't have to worry about the car being level too much or anything like that. It's gonna, you know, the way it's sitting, that's not gonna lose enough structure cutting out the front two pans. Now, I didn't want to cut out all four pins at the same time. Probably would have been fine, but without having the car, you know, jacked up or leveled or something like that. So I just did the front two. I'm going to do the back two tomorrow night and hopefully have that video up Tuesday. Today's Sunday. No, I've never put an LS in one. That is a plan. I'm going to do an LS swap in the future. Right now, it's getting to find LS engines. Everything is tough to find. LS engines have become so popular, and also aftermarket cores. Aftermarket people are buying up cores, so it's getting more difficult to find LS engines. That's right, Adam. Patching is the way to do it. Facebook page on content about parts. My Facebook page is Shop 209. You can message me there. There is nothing at oil fields. You're right, David. That's it. D Dozer, new to the channel and love the content. Do I do anything with Novas after 74? I would love to build a Disco Nova. I call everything after 75 a Disco Nova. I would like to build one. I'd have to find one before. I'm going to have to come live with one of you guys if I bring any more cars home. So I'm going to have to live in one of these things. Now, my wife loves my cars. She's just as passionate about old cars and stuff as I am. But we don't have so much property. We only have so much property. My grammar's not great. We only have a couple of acres, so I'm over my limit. The neighbors, if the neighbors could see past the woods in our yard, they'd be shooting at us. So I would love to have a 75 to 79 Nova one day, but I've got to get rid of some of this other stuff before I get any more projects. What type of welder do I use for body panels? I've got a Lincoln 180, and yeah, the Lincoln 180. Now I also have a TIG welder, but the Lincoln 180. If you're going to weld body panels, on a floor it's fine, but if you're going to weld body panels on the outside where you're going to paint over it, use the smallest gauge wire and keep your amp setting low and get your wire speed right. And I'm going to do a video on that. But you go around and you don't want to lay any beads. You want to put little small tack welds and keep your metal as cool as you can. And I'm not great at that, but I've done it enough to where I've screwed up enough body panels to tell you what not to do. How about that? Cool, yeah, Dylan the Kid, post some pictures and I'll check that out. Yeah, John, I saw you on Hot Rods 4x4s. I saw where you swapped your truck. That was pretty cool. I watched that video. LS swaps don't look hard, but my biggest problem is finding one around here in good condition. Yeah, Rumpel, I saw that where California, where they're trying to, if you swap an LS in your car, the whole car's got to meet the emissions of whatever car it came out of, which is, I've never been to California, and I'd like to see some things in California, but some of the stuff going on out there, I don't know how you guys handle it. This one will get to 350, but I will be doing an LS in some Nova sometime soon. Mid swap right now. Round one, that's right. Hey, everybody, hit the like button. 40 people, all right, that's the highest number ever. Appreciate it, guys. But yeah, so the LS swap, I'd like to do one, and if I do one, I'd love to do a 6-speed with one, but I would also like to do a budget LS swap, but there's nothing budget about a 6-speed. Now, a year or two ago, you could find some mid-90s F-bodies with the 6-speed in those and the LT engines. You could find those pretty cheap, all clapped out, but it's difficult to find anything like that now. Super bad gasser, you own too many? Save some for the rest of us. Yeah, I own too many. That's for sure. Yeah, we don't have emissions testing here at all. Now in Atlanta, I think they do, and maybe not all of Atlanta. Depends on the county you're in, but not in the. I'm in the middle part of Georgia. We have no smog testing here. Hopefully it won't come. Brian B has a question for Nova experts. His 65 is missing its cattle tag and don't know what engine is in it. A 194 or 230 inline 6. I don't have a lot of experience on deciphering the engines on those inline 6s. I want to say that the 194 and the 230 have a different style intake. I thought, and maybe the 292 is the one that's different, and the 194 and 230 are the same. Maybe somebody else can answer it. So if you guys know how to tell the difference between a 194 and a 250, let them know. I don't know which one is more common. Probably whichever one is more common in those cars is the one you have. $500 to get you a 5.3. Well, shoot, when the border opens up, I need to come to Canada because that's a good deal. And I'd like to see Canada anyway, unless you're in the part of Canada that's hard to get to. And when I mean hard to get to, it's in the middle of nowhere. But if it is, you wouldn't have all these engines laying around. So, Jed Puskakowski, I'm sorry, Jed. Jed Puskakowski, man, I'm butchering it, I'll stop. Find the number on the head. So maybe the number on the head will tell you the cubic inches on there, is what the guys are saying. So Farm Kid, what part of Canada are you in? But yeah, so never been to Canada. I'd like to go up there one day. And I like driving. Me and my wife will drive anywhere, except maybe Hawaii. Probably won't drive to Hawaii. Puzakowski. Hey, there you go. Thank you, sir. Edmonton. Okay. So yeah, it's yeah, I'd like to find it, and I would even do a 4.8 LS engine because you know, they make decent power. They're the same block as a 5.3. I think the crank's different and the pistons are different. That's it. So if I do a 4.8, I would definitely turbo it at some point. I've already got a cheap turbo I bought off of Amazon. I was going to put on the 307 at some point. Maybe nitrous it, or it's either going to get nitrous or boost at some point. When I built it, I opened up the ring gaps so I could spray it or boost it without immediately destroying the cast pistons that I ended up using. So yeah, it's thicker cylinders on a 4.8 for forced air. Yeah, and if my buddy Brian has a machine shop, he's got the chassis dyno where we dynoed the Dart when we did the 318 cam swap, and he's got a CNC engine center, and he can do the sleeves on all the aluminum blocks. He can put sleeves in the LS aluminum blocks. So if I find an aluminum block LS motor, I'll just get him to put whatever sleeves I need in there. Rusty, there you go. Okay, Jed Pusakowski, go to my Shop 209 Facebook page. post your Nova there. Any of you guys that weren't watching a little while ago, you can go to my Facebook page and you can go to my community tab on my Shop 209 page and post them there and we'll look at them. Wow. Yeah, it's hard to find stuff. I guess either the LS stuff here now, and we don't have a lot of, Atlanta has a lot of salvage yards, but I guess a lot of the guys buy them and they get gone, or you've got some, everything I've looked at is pretty sketchy as far as the stuff on Facebook Marketplace, stuff on Craigslist here, all the LS stuff. It looks like it's been sitting outside in the rain and they want 800 bucks for it, so. Flipping YouTube, Edmonton is only about 2,500 miles, and I've driven more than that on a weekend. You would know, sir. You would know. And yes, I have driven 2,500 miles on a weekend. That's a regular thing for us. Bought a run and drive in 2004 Suburban with a 5.3 in it for $500 in Ohio. Yeah, so in Georgia, we don't have the rust that you guys have up north. And you like how we say that in South? Up north. It's north, in the north, or it's up there. Up north, kind of redundant, but it's funny. So yeah, the vehicles down here don't have the frame rot. So a Suburban up there, mid 2000s, the frame's probably rusted out like crazy, and if the transmission go on the truck isn't worth kicking. So you could probably get good deals on it. Here, everything is in pretty good shape, unless it's pre-90s or something, or it's beat to death. It could be beat to death. Not enough turbo small block videos on YouTube. I agree. Drive by cable, yeah. And if not, I would switch it to drive by cable. I'm not comfortable now. My truck is drive by wire, but I don't like to drive by wire. I prefer drive by cable. But yeah, so LS with a turbo would be cool. I would like to do if I do a Pro Street Nova on the 71 that I've got in storage, I'll do a 4-link on it. It'll be a big tire car, and it'll get a big block with a root style blower. I'll give it the Mike Finnegan treatment. All right, we got 11 more minutes, guys. Any more questions? Video froze. Uh-oh. Let me see what's going on. Hang on a second. All right. Is the video back now? Let's see. All right, video still not. It's back. Okay, cool. I've got a delay here, so I can't tell if it's back or not. Iron Hippo A7X. Hope to see you at the Turkey Rod Run. Cool. I will be there. Good to go. Cool. Sorry about that, guys. When I guess I didn't plug my charger back into my phone all the way, and it wasn't charging. So when it popped up, my iPhone was low. It froze the video. Sorry about that. Yeah. So the Turkey Rod Run, like I said, we'll be there. We usually park. We usually come in and get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, pretty early, and then we walk around the swap meet most of the time. But I'll come back and check at my car a couple of times. So if anybody's going to be there, you'll see me. It's hard to miss somebody this ugly. Round one. Well, you're welcome, sir. I don't have that much know. Just I read a lot online and repeat what I read. So if somebody else has the knowledge, I just copy it. But I have a good memory. Brian B. All right. Hope to see you next week, buddy. We'll see you Sunday night. And I'll probably have 2 videos between now and next Sunday coming out. But yeah, I remember a lot. I've got a good memory, so when I read stuff about Novas, it's usually kind of accurate. But if I'm recording, if I'm doing live, I'll give you a vague answer because I don't want to be wrong and it be here forever on YouTube. If I'm recording a video, if I figure most of the time I might have some bullet points written down behind the camera, but most of it's coming off the top of my head, and I've got it memorized. But sometimes I'll research stuff and make sure I'm not going to make an idiot out of myself because I don't want to look stupid. On the engine bay paint application, if I'm doing something on the engine bay, I just use I make sure I've got some kind of epoxy paint or self-etching or something on the firewall, and then I use a satin black. It's got to be a satin color. I don't like a semi-gloss or gloss paint. I don't like it. It's got to be just a satin black. Cool, Hot Rod John. See you later, man. Cool, yeah. Post pics on there, Steve. I appreciate it. All right, man. Y'all have a good night. We got about 6 minutes left, 6 or 7 minutes left. And hopefully a lot of work will get done on this thing this week. I'm going to go see Mr. Ronnie and look at some parts he's got. Sounds like he's got some good deals. I probably will not leave there without buying something. And I'm taking a trailer with me so I can get as much as I can. I have to do it during the day so my wife doesn't know I've done it. I'm just kidding. She's cool with it. A Vega GT5 speed bore-borner transmission was much fun in Nova. I would love to do a Vega build, man. I would love a 73 Vega. 73 is the year I was born, so that's my favorite year for anything. And I would love to do a Vega build, and probably not a V8, probably some kind of cool other engine from GM. And I would also like to do I'd like to do a Pinto or a Mercury Bobcat build one day with a 2.3 Ford. That'd be pretty cool, especially a turbo something on a 2.3 Ford. That'd be I think they had something. I want to say they had a turbo GT Fox body in the late 80s or mid 80s with a 2.3 turbocharged engine. That thing was a pretty cool car. A friend of mine had one and raised some hell in it. So had another friend that had a 2.3 with a 4-speed in a Mercury Bobcat, like a 78 or 79 Mercury Bobcat, and I almost died a lot in that car, so I've got a lot of memories there. So yeah, a V8 Vega would be cool. I'd love to do a V8 Chevette. I think it'd be funny to build a V8 86 Nova tube chassis car, something like that, and make it a sleeper. That'd be funny. But then I'd also like to see I'd like to take an 86 Nova and drive it off a cliff, or push it off a cliff. I don't want to be in it. Thought Chevy Coupe Series 2 of South America Nova in disguise, kind of like a Nova SS but no V8. Yes, the Chevy Series 2, I don't know if it's Series 2 or Series 2, I think it's Series 2. You know, it looked like basically the 70 body style Nova they made in Argentina, Venezuela, and South America. They made those all the way up to like 79, I think. And the headlight bezels have the turn signal in there instead of in the grill. They had some pretty cool graphic packages, pretty neat looking cars. And Javier Mira did he's got Bonneville Art and Design on Facebook, and he does renderings of all kinds of old cars. He's got one. He's posted a lot of pictures of some of the stuff down there in Argentina, and it's pretty cool. I think Argentina. I think it's where he's at. So Brazil, Javier, if I've screwed up your country, I am so sorry. But yeah, I like those. Any of the South American stuff, I would love to import one day and build one. But it'd be pretty cool to have one. Is anyone on the West Coast going to Bear Jackson in January? I'd like to go. I'd like to go to Bear Jackson and find something to buy and drive home. That'd be a pretty cool video. Lou. Price of 7 and those going up. Do you think will be collectible in the future? 77 is being collectible. Probably. You know, in my video I talked about Nova prices. A lot of the reasons the prices on these things have gone up is 3 or 4 different things. As people get older, what's the word I'm looking for? As people get older, they usually just have more money. Now, some people have less money when they get older because they keep buying Novas. But usually when people get older, they have more money. And people that are around the age of my age now, these things were hot in high school when I was in high school. So from the late 80s to the early 90s, it was pretty cool to have a third generation Nova or Chevelle, that kind of thing. Those cars are hot right now because people my age their kids are getting out of the house, or they're, they've saved enough money over the years. They finally settled down enough where they have expendable income to buy a car like this and or fix it up. So also, cars that used to be in this kind of condition, there were no panels for. So back in the 90s, you couldn't buy any reproduction parts for these cars, hardly, especially the early 90s. So if you had a car this rusty, it was a parts car only. I saw many cars like this, nicer than this, that were scrapped because you couldn't get a roof skin, you couldn't get a quarter panel. You had to find another car, cut it up to build one of these. So with all the reproduction parts, with the people that wanted a car like they had in high school or like they didn't have in high school, the prices of these cars went up. And the 75 through 79 Novas, they're going to end up the same way. Probably not as much because they weren't really as performance as the 68 through 74s, 68 through 72s, but still the prices of those will get up there. Maybe not as high, but they'll get there. Big old La Chopa, whatever you said, you deleted it, that's okay. Accordion windows have nostalgia but are ugly. BFPs, most of them, yeah. The accordion windows, or you mean the vents in front of the accordion windows? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, the Vega, Monza, and Chevette, yeah, some of those Corvettes back there probably won't have that much money. There used to be a Mirage Monza Mirage sitting not too far from me. It was at an old service station, and I was going to try to catch the guy there. It's been several years ago, and I think in the last year or two it finally disappeared. But I think it was a V8 Monza. It's kind of like a Spider, but it's a Mirage edition. On a 70 Nova with a stock rear end, what's the widest wheel you can fit? Big Ola Chopa, I'm not sure about the widest wheel. Probably a 10-inch, depending on the tire. 8-inch is the most I'd feel comfortable with, because with a 10-inch wheel, you're either going to be, if you don't have a lot of back spacing, you're going to be way out here, and you're going to be real close to your fender lip. If you have a bunch of back spacing, you're going to hit the leaf spring or the inside of the body really quick with a 10-inch wheel. I know some people do it, but you have to get just the right magic number of back spacing to get that right. Yeah, between the B-pillar and the windows, yeah, I see what you're saying. All right, guys, a couple minutes left. Any other questions? I'm out of Mountain Dew. It's almost time to go. All right, so check me out on Facebook, Shop 209. I've got a lot of videos. I've got about 65 videos now on YouTube, so if you've got some questions about stuff, go back through and look. I'm trying to put stuff, when I have time, I go back and I try to add stuff to a playlist. I'm going to try to put everything in different lists, so I'll try to retitle some of the videos a little better. I can go back and change the titles on them and see if that helps with changing how easy it is to find certain subjects in the video. D-Dozer, thank you, sir, for watching. But yeah, so I'm gonna, I've got plenty of videos on there, so there's a lot of content you can go back and check out, and I'll try to get 2 more videos this week out on this car. The next video will have the front floor pans getting replaced, the rear floor pans getting replaced, and the rear deck filler getting replaced, or at least getting started on the rear deck filler. I'm trying to get complete videos, but on this build, I'm gonna just post whatever I've got every 3-ish days. Round 1, just paid $1,200 for 74 Nova about 20 years ago. It parked about 15 years in my own garage. About to pull it out in the next month or so. Cool. Get started on that thing, man. Get it safely running and driving as fast as you can and cheap as you can. And if that's what you want to do, or completely go nuts and go crazy, spend $1 billion on it. Whatever is in your wheelhouse, and get it. Enjoy the car. That's the big thing. That's the thing about this. I've seen so many people take cars and take them all apart and lose interest in them, or even with Frankenova, I'm 2 years into that project now. and it's not been to the track yet, mainly because the track hasn't been open when I've had time. Caleb Brown. Hey, Caleb, you're in Missouri. You're the one that messaged me about the motor. Okay, I'm sorry. I think, right? Apocalypse Off-Road. What's up, fellas? He's got a cool channel. It's all right, Caleb. I'm going to be here for another minute or so. But, yeah, I got a bunch of projects, man. Yeah, Caleb, and I replied to someone else earlier. I got them confused with you. I'm sorry, but the I don't have time to go to Missouri right now, but I'd love to take you up on that. That'd be a cool to come and get a motor from you. You're in Missouri, I think, correct? Apocalypse Off-Road. What are you working on, man? I don't know if you guys can hear that. A bunch of fireworks going off. We got a big fair in town. It's the last night, and they're going crazy with fireworks. Yeah, I've got a few projects. That's one way to put it. BEL Spitfire multi-spark ignition capacitor discharge model 220S out of a 71 Ford Country Squire engine bay. I have no idea, man. A couple of Land Cruisers. Hey, those are cool cars, and those have got some value now. Probably not as high as what year Land Cruisers are they? Probably not as valuable as the Bronco 2 from the Fords. Those things have gone out of sight. I missed the boat on those. I could have got a couple of those cheap a few years ago in great good enough condition. 71 Ford Country Squire engine bay. Is that the one that had the Duraspark ignition? Is that the big box that melts down every 300 miles? I'm just kidding. Black box. Yeah, the El Camino. Which race on the 30th? Where are you going to be racing at? I wanted to take Frankie over to the track this weekend, but couldn't do it. So hopefully, I think the drag strip that I want to take it to. We've got a couple of drag strips. One is 1/8 mile, one's 1/4 mile, and then this weekend, which is a couple of hours from me, we have South Georgia Motorsports Park. They're having the Lights Out race or whatever it is down there this weekend. Probably over by now. Paintington Speedway. I probably didn't say that right. What's your best pass in that El Camino? Reasonable price classic cars, round one. If you're looking for a reasonable price classic car online, you're too late. Somebody has already got it and they're making money off of it, or the price is already up. The best way to find, and I'm doing a video on this, the best way to find a good deal on a classic car is to go around to body shops in your area that may have done work on cars, they may know someone, go to your older salvage yards, go around to parts houses. Don't bug these people, because if they tell you no or bug off, leave them alone. But a lot of these people will know where some cars are, project cars, stuff like that. Because if you wait until someone's posted an ad on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or eBay, they already know what it's worth probably, and you're not going to get that great of a deal on it. Or they're already ready to sell it and they've done research. And I'm not saying to take advantage of anyone, but a lot of times you see one sitting in somebody's yard and you drive up, knock on the door, cash talks. Have $100 bills on you. Also have a Glock or something with you, or a SIG, so you don't get robbed. But in my opinion, the best thing to do is never ever post on Facebook a picture of a bunch of $100 bills unless you want to get robbed, and tell somebody you're ready to buy a car. We've had a couple of older people around here get murdered. One about 3 years ago, older couple got murdered because the guy posted on there he had $5,000 and was looking for a used car, and somebody robbed him and killed him and his wife. Sad story. So if you post a wanted ad, or if you go to look at these cars, make sure you're going somewhere you know where you're at, somebody else knows where you're at, and somebody is going with you. Be careful about it. Boy, I went off on a rant there, didn't I? Visit the Cole Church and Senior Center. They always have something tucked away. There you go. 10 seconds in the 8th mile. That's not terrible, man. Put some nitrous on it, knock it down to 8s. I think anything in the 8th mile, anything running 8s or better is respectable. But you know, depends on what you've got in the El Camino, whether that's respectable or not. You take it to the track, you're better than the guy that thinks he's got a 10-second car, and it's really a 14-second car, but he's never taken it to the track. I used to know a bunch of Mustang guys like that. You ask them, hey, what's it run? Well, it's the same specs as my buddy's car, and his ran a 12.0 and whatever. Run it or shut up. G26. Yeah, it's built for smash to pass, not drag racing. There you go. All right, guys, 3 more minutes. I got 34 people. I don't want to leave you hanging, but I've been on here about 2 hours now. So I've got to get up early and go do some work so I can get home and work on this junk. There you go. That's a good idea. One says he always gives them a dollar or something for the time. So Ford 8.8 Ford Nova. I'm doing this now, going smooth so far. I've never cut one down, no sir. I'm not hating on the 8.8 thing. You can get one out of an Explorer, and it's got disc brakes on the back. It's a very strong rear end. But for me, I would just use the 8.5 and find one. In my area, it's easy enough to find an 8.5 inch rear end to put in a Nova. You wouldn't have to cut one down out of an Explorer and use it. There's an advantage to a 9-inch because you can change the center sections, but the 8.8 is probably stronger. It's got a bigger ring gear than the 8.5 by 300 thousandths, but I don't know if there's a big enough advantage for me to try to cut one up. Not knocking anyone that's doing it, because, you know, but I would rather just use the 8.5 inch rear end, and if I'm going to use any more power than that can handle, I'll go to a Ford 9-inch. Yeah, I mean, okay, so you said you're going to have about, have a good week, super bad gasser. We'll see you next time. I hope I make good progress also. The 8.5 inch now with 650 foot-pounds of torque. How heavy is the car? What year is it? So the 8.5 that's in Frankenova used to be in a, when I worked at a tire shop, my boss had a 72 Nova with a 502 in it and a 250 shock, and he beat the snot out of it. It's got Moser axles, C-clip eliminators, but really it never had any problems. And that was with a stock posi unit that had been rebuilt. So a 555 big block Chevrolet and a T56. Yeah, I would probably have a 9-inch in it with a T56 and that much power, because you're going to shock the rear end a lot more. Yeah, the 8.5 is not a good idea. I would put the 8.8 will be fine, but really, if you dump the clutch on that, you're going to have a mess if you don't have good U-joints and the rear end's put together right. Number 1, a few episodes behind, is the budget Nova getting a budget paint job or keeping the as-found look? Well, while I still have 32 people watching, some of you already commented earlier, leave it as is. I'm kind of okay leaving it as is, and I'm kind of okay primering it. So I will do a budget paint job on this. I just don't know if I'm going to do it before or after I drive this thing to Daytona. I've thought about driving it down there like it is. I'll probably get some hate, but a lot of people like the ratty muscle car look, myself included. But at the same time, I thought about at least primering the thing black or something. Probably won't plastic dip it or anything like that, but if I do anything to it, I'll either leave it alone, or I'll sand it down and primer it flat black just to get it all one color. but it really depends on how it looks. Once I get the suspension, the leaf springs and all off the shackles that are on it, stock shackles on it, once I get the stance and see where it's going to set, I might want to primer it, and I might leave it like it is. I just got to see how it looks. But I would not be opposed to painting it. I've got an idea for a budget paint job on it, and maybe not so much budget paint job, but not an expensive paint job. Definitely a do-it-yourself at home paint job. But I would do a paint job on it for sure. Just whether or not I do it before I go to Florida or not, I'm not sure. But pretty much everything on here is going to be budget. Like I said, I'm using cast iron intake and a quadrijet carb, stock exhaust manifolds. I'm patching the floor up when I should have put a whole floor in it, but this is cheaper, but it's taking more time. It's more work to do the patches. It's more money to do the whole floor. And it might be more work, but I think it's more work doing the patches. It's a lot more welding. Roll-on primer from Eastwood is cheap and amazing. Yeah, I've thought about using that. I want to do a video on it. If you'll go check out Bradley's Building Junk, he's got a Camaro he's working on. He did the roll-on primer on that, and it worked out really nice. I've talked to him about his experience with it. I was going to do it, and then I've already bought some primer for one of these cars. I bought some. I want to do a Summit Racing paint job on something. All right, any more last minute questions? I'm out of green poison, so. It's starting to get kind of chilly out here. What are the best websites for engine parts? Summit Racing. Summit Racing or Speedway Motors. I'll tell you what I like about Summit. If they say they have it in stock, it's in stock. I haven't had good luck on eBay as far as a lot of times on eBay, it will say in stock and they don't have it. And there's a couple other sites. Jegs is hit and miss. Jegs doesn't really show you in stock as much as they tell you it'll ship, and they may or may not have it. I'm not bashing Jegs, but I haven't had as good of experience with Jegs that have Summit. Amazon, I've had pretty good experience ordering stuff through Amazon, but I've got a Summit Racing an hour and 15 minutes from me up in McDonough, Georgia. So a lot of times I go up there and pick that stuff up. Caleb, have a good evening, buddy. Run Racer, that was okay. But it was Johnny Paycheck and Jimmy Weekend project. That's exactly right. That's the whole point of this thing. I'm trying to do this on what a decent used car would cost a kid, $5,000 or $6,000. Like I said, I'm probably going to blow the $5,000 budget. I'm really trying not to. It depends. I've already about $2,100 in, and I've already got everything except for brake shoes. I've got brake drums, but they need to be turned. I need brake shoes and brake hardware. I've got all the brake lines, mass cylinder, all that hoses. I've got all that stuff. I've got all of my front end parts except for, well, I've got coil springs, but they're old springs, and that's fine because they'll probably sit just about right now that they're wore out. I don't have any shocks yet. I don't have a rear end leaf springs. I'm going to go see a guy about that. So I've got a lot of stuff. I've got the transmission pretty much taken care of other than converter. Still got to buy a converter. I need a steering box. I've got most of what I need suspension wise. All the body bushings, front end bushings, I've got all that stuff ready to go. Ball joints, all that's in the budget already. So, and I think I'm at $2,100. So I've got about $2,900 left to spend, and I've got to, I've got a bunch to do. I've got to do the interior. I've got to do exhaust, cooling system. I've got all my fuel system. I've got the fuel pump, fuel tank, and all the fuel lines. I've got that done. Got to do a windshield. That's $300. That's going to hit hard. I got to do wiring. So it's gonna rack up really fast. White elephant. Easiest way to determine what stall speed your torque converter is. Well, the way that works is if you pick a random, if you go online and look at a TCI or FTI or Hughes or B&M converter, whatever the stall speed says it is not. The stall speed depends on the weight of the vehicle and the amount of torque your engine is producing. So one converter will stall differently in a big block than a small block, just because of the amount of torque. It really depends. That's why they give you a range, and it's all over the place. So really put your foot on the brake and see what you can foot brake it up to without spinning the tires, and that's going to be your foot brake stall. And your flash stall will probably be a few hundred RPM higher than that at the closest. My battery's dying on my pad here. Jag sucks. I've had a bad experience with them. They sent me damaged parts numerous times. Yeah, and honestly, Summit may have the same problem, but since I live close to Summit, I go pick my stuff up. I have ordered stuff from them, but it's the shipping companies. I'm not going to blame Jags for the shipping stuff, but maybe they know it's that bad when it goes out. 11 Bravo 01A. Have 68, the rear bumper impacted the quarters. Should I do the lower or full replacement of the quarters? It depends. I would check the side of the trunk pan, because on this 69 back here, part of the problem I had was it had been hit on the driver's wheel. Besides that and all the stuff that had been, that's the reason I replaced the trunk pan. So I would just look real careful there. The bottom of the quarter, it's just hard to tell if the quarter panel itself is buckled, unless it's got nice paint on it, you can tell. 500, you were Danny Lee plus $300 for each parts. Danny, I completely agree. I would rather buy a basket case and build it than a finished car. It's the journey, not the destination, right? I agree. Patches make the most sense. Cool, man. Merkin off. Is there any way to get a 69 taillight fit on a 7072 even with put work into it? Yeah, you can. If you change the tail panel, it's real easy. You just get the 69 tail, put them in there, and the tail panel is exactly the same, other than the cutouts for the lights. So it's the same piece. If you want to do it without that, you could probably. I'd have to look at the two different panels and see what the differences are as far as the way the tail light mounts. I'm not sure. Sorry, Gus. Sorry about that. Okay, Ronnie, I won't. I'll come see you. Good night, the Dozer. All right, guys, look, we're going to cut it off for the night. My pad's dying. I'm going to sleep. You guys have been great. Should have 2 videos out, one on Tuesday and then probably one on Friday. And should get a lot done this week. We'll see how that goes. Thanks for hanging out. Check out some of my other videos. Hit the like button. Tell your friends to subscribe. All that good stuff. Build me up some followers. I appreciate everything. Motor mount's the same on the BOPs. I don't know. I think the motor mounts are different on the BOPs. No, for an LS, whatever engine you've got, you can buy adapter motor mounts to fit on there. Ratty cars do stand out much more, yes sir. That's why I didn't paint Frankenhove. I left it like it was. All right, guys, listen. You guys have a good night. We'll see you next week, and save your questions or post it on the video after it's done and post up live, or post them on the other videos. And I still try to answer everybody on all the video comments and stuff like that. So Run Race, hey, no problem, man. Thank you. You guys have a good night. We'll see you next week.